In any case, forgive our digression. I must speak with you if you can spare a moment. The way you held your ground against the bandits' leader was captivating. You never lost control of the situation. It showed me I still have much to learn.
Your skill is precisely why I must ask you to consider lending your services to the Empire. I might as well tell you now, I am no mere student. I am also the Adrestian Empire's...
Halt, Edelgard. Please allow me to finish my own proposition. The Holy Kingdom of Fargus is in dire need of exceptional individuals like yourself. Please, do consider returning to the kingdom with me.
Whoa there, you two sure are hasty.
This will be your first time at the monastery. I'd be happy to show you around. Professor, I've been looking for you. I was hoping we could all share a meal together. It could serve as both a victory celebration and a post-battle analysis. What do you think? Of course! Why wouldn't you be? Professor, I'm sorry to intrude, but you don't look too happy for someone who just won. Well, I understand how hard it can be to accept joy sometimes. I'm sorry for prying. I know we only just met, so this may be difficult for you, but I'd love nothing more than to share our happiness with you. Joy can be so fleeting, after all. We're all in this together, so I hope you will consent. I'm sure the rest of the class feels the very same. Well, come along, Professor. Let's enjoy the fruits of our labor. This will be our first true battle. I'm looking forward to fighting alongside you, Professor. During the mock battle, your commands were thoughtful and thorough, as was your strategy. With you on our side, I'm confident we will prevail.
Don't worry about it. Professor, we must hurry. Everyone's waiting on you.
I suppose I should be off too. Try not to let her get to you, Dimitri. I promise you, there's no need for concern.
Now that's a lark. I had no idea you had a sense of humor, Professor. I'll tell you all about it, some other time. I cannot tell you how long it has been since I indulged in a nice, relaxing conversation. Thank you for the treat. I had a wonderful time. I would love to do this again, if that is acceptable to you. I heard about our mission for this month. So, we are to eradicate thieves in Kingdom territory. I'm sorry for dragging you into the Kingdom's petty squabbles. This should not be your burden to bear, but my own. Thank you, Professor. Hearing you say that puts my mind at ease. I'm sorry, Professor. I'm so relieved I suddenly felt weak. I couldn't be happier with how things turned out. And I imagine no one will be more overjoyed than Seteth. Hey, Professor. Can you make that expression one more time? I don't think I've ever seen your face like that. I apologize. I've forgotten myself and come dangerously close to teasing you. It's just... I've never seen you look so happy before. It's downright mesmerizing. The Battle of the Eagle and Lion takes place every year during the Wyvern Moon. It can be best described as a mock battle between the three houses.
Much like the one we had during the Great Tree Moon. Do you remember, Professor?
It was certainly an unforgettable time. I've never seen anyone put away as much victory food as you did that night, Professor. So, this is to be our battlefield. Gronder Field. Are you feeling confident, Professor? Excellent. That's most reassuring. We can win, I'm sure of it. After all, it's not as though we've spent the last half year sitting idle. And I'm feeling stronger this moon. As though I could conquer 1,000 opponents all on my own. You can depend on me. I hope you know that.
When we get back to Garrigmach, let's have a grand feast to break down the walls between our respective houses. And by a grand feast, I mean a fairly regular feast in the dining hall.
You really value that kind of thing, don't you? Well, I suppose no harm can come from it. Count me in.
I have no objections either. And you, Professor? You look so happy. I love seeing you like this. I suppose that look on your face is just another boon from this glorious day. Perhaps the best one of all. I had a wonderful time today, Professor. As usual, I was astonished by how much you ate in the name of celebration. Really, though, I must thank you again. Our victory in the Battle of the Eagle and Lion was thanks in no small part to you. Yes, that is true. But it was your instruction that allowed us to reach our full potential. I feel silly admitting this now, but when you first came to lead our class, you unnerved me. You're different now. In the half year we've spent together, I've seen the glow of humanity in your eyes and in your actions countless times. I am truly grateful to have had the chance to spend this time with you, Professor.
Getting cozy, are we? Mind if I cut in?
That's enough, Sylvain.
It is most unlike our professor to go wandering alone like that.
Curious, Your Highness?
Yes, I have an uneasy feeling about this. Let's gather the others and find out what is going on. This is bad. It's a good thing we managed to catch up with our professor. We must help our professor, first and foremost. This is a tough situation for anyone. Professor, I am so glad that you are unharmed. What if something had happened to you? Professor, I'm sorry you saw that side of me in the village. It must have been quite a shock to you and the others. I'm mortified by my behavior. When I saw the chaos and violence there, my mind just went completely dark. I see. So that happens to you as well, then. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your help the other day, Professor. Please, allow me to express my gratitude by taking you to dinner. Fantastic. Please think about what you'd like to eat. After all, such magnificent guidance must work up quite an appetite. Now I know, with all my heart, that I can trust you. Thank you for that. You know, there's no telling where life will take us after we leave here. If only we could find a way to come together again, just like this.
A fine notion, Your Highness. Perhaps 5 years from now?
5 years from now? Ah, that's when Garrigmach Monastery will be holding its Millennium Festival. The festivities at the Millennium Festival will be of a scale far beyond anything we've yet seen. In other words, the perfect excuse for all of us to return here.
Ooh, a reunion? That sounds fun! I wouldn't miss it for the world!
I'd love for you to be there as well, Professor. After all, you're the heart of the Blue Lion House. Good. Then it's settled. Of course, if something happens and I'm not able to attend, I'm leaving all of the logistics of organizing this reunion to you, Professor.
It's true! I'm sure being a king will keep you busy, but it's a bit early to be backing out of your own plans, don't you think?
Yes, I suppose you're right. I'm sorry. You have my word. I will return as well. Count on it. Anyway, I'm feeling a bit out of place here. Festivities like this don't suit me. Professor, will you join me for a bit? You must be getting a bit tired of the ball by now. It's quiet here, isn't it, Professor? That reminds me. Do you know the legend associated with the Goddess Tower? Is that right? You don't strike me as the sort to enjoy stories like that. They say that wishes made in this tower will come true. I wonder who came up with such a silly notion. In any case, I suppose there's no harm in passing the time with silly legends. What do you say, Professor? Care to make a wish? We are here on the night of the ball. Why don't you try wishing for something? A wish of my own. I suppose my wish is for a world in which no one would ever be unjustly taken from us. Or something along those lines. Thank you, Professor. Although, at a time like this, perhaps it would make more sense for me to wish that we'll be together forever. What do you think? Well now, Professor, you must admit I've improved in the art of joke-telling. I'm sorry. I guess that was rather thoughtless of me. Honestly, I do regret saying such a thing. Please, think nothing of it. I've blurted out irresponsible things like that to my classmates. Promises that we'll see each other again and the like. I have no business making such promises for the future. There are certain things that I must accomplish, even if it means risking my life. I may not even have a future to promise to someone. We should head back soon. It's rude of me to keep you all to myself. Shall we, Professor? There you are. Lady Rhea is looking for you, Professor. And after your audience, why don't you join me at the dining hall? You haven't eaten since it happened, have you? Forgive me. I suppose it's too soon to try and coax you back into the normal swing of things. As for what happened to Gerald, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't do anything to stop it. Stay here until you've found some peace. I'll cover for you with Lady Rhea and everyone else. We'll be waiting for you whenever you're ready to return to us. No matter what happens or what anyone may say, know that I plan to stand by you, Professor. Through anything. Until the bitter end. Professor, welcome back. We all were... You've been on our minds. Know that your enemies are my enemies. I will do all I can to help you find justice. There is no one else I can... My strength is yours alone. I will fight as you command. I will kill anyone, should you ask it of me.
Oh, is something hiding just behind that book? That ring! I have seen it before. Ah, I know. Gerald showed that ring to you beside a grave. Do you recall? He said he wished for you to have that ring one day. That means it's yours. He also said that you should gift that ring to someone special.
Professor, I hope you know I meant what I told you before. Your enemy is my enemy. And I will follow you until the end. Whatever that end may be. Yes, right. We'll fulfill our duty together. We've come this far. We can't stop now. What was that sorcery? What happened to our professor?
They were swallowed by the mystical darkness of the forbidden spell. An eternity wandering in a void of nothingness, never to return to this world.
We cannot abandon hope, Your Highness. Our professor lives. I know it.
You're right. We will save the professor. But first, let's destroy this fiend. I'll slice you into 1,000 pieces as you watch with horror. You will know true pain before I finally allow you to die! Professor, That is you, isn't it? Oh, I'm glad you are safe. I was sure that you would return. Professor, I'm glad you're okay. And you seem relatively unscathed. I'm so relieved. If you're Seros, granted power by the goddess, then I suppose that makes me... never mind. I'm getting carried away. Professor, what's wrong? Are you asleep? What is happening these days? Well, it matters not. We must get you help, and fast. Sorry, Professor, but I have no choice but to carry you back.